Good afternoon. So here is your planning board meeting recap from May 4th. They started with a public comment session. Pat Bovera came up and asked about the performance standards for gas stations / convenience stores and an update on that. The town manager, James Bellissimo, was there and let her know that SMPDC is working on developing those ordinances and that we should have progress within the next few meetings and hopefully a report on that. Inevitably, my phone's going off. Then there was a discussion about not having public comment about projects that are currently on the agenda. This has kind of been a small little slip up with the board lately because I watch these meetings and I served on our board for so many years. I was aware of that and I thought, it's very possible that I'm just not up on the newest standards of meetings, but apparently I am. So there was a discussion about that. Basically, there's a public hearing for each project if the board decides to have a public hearing. And that is when the public can be heard. The public comes, leaves their comments, and then the developer and the board get to hear those and will respond later. It's usually not a back and forth conversation with the public, but that's it. That's the time for it. And that hearing can be extended by the board for as long as it needs to be. But what can't happen is the public cannot come up during public comment sessions during a regular board meeting and speak about projects and permits and whatever that are open out of turn and especially without the developer being there. That's just a huge no-no. So that had happened over a few planning board meetings, and so there was a discussion about not doing that anymore. Then there's a lot of people from one particular subdivision application that's in right now. That's the one at the end of Alley Pond Road and Johnny Lane. So that's the one with the that's the one where the public comments kind of have been done out of line. So there was a request put in that the public hearing for that subdivision be reopened. In new business, there was a site plan amendment for Berwick Iron and Metal. So you guys know that's right on Route 236, right next to the transfer station. All that they want to do is replace their little existing building with a newer 2-story building and put a bathroom in there. There's already a septic in place. It's not going to be visible from the street. There's no additional blasting. It's really not going to change anything. Public hearing for that is on June 1st. They're not conducting a site walk. There's a site plan review. So the town of Berwick, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to this, but down on the end, I think it's the end of Moulton Street, but it's right on the river. There is a parcel of land that the town owns now, from what I understand, but they've been looking to develop that into a little park. And it's great because it's on the lower end of the falls. It's beautiful. It's totally different vantage point of the Salmon Falls River than we have upriver. And so this site plan review really was for the stormwater management improvements. It's not for the development of the park. A bunch of waivers were granted, and there's going to be a site walk June 1st at 5 o'clock. And then the public hearing for that will be June 15th. There was a solar extension for Hubbard Road. So Hubbard Road had, actually I was on the board when we approved this, a solar farm approved. And because CMP is having interconnection issues, their 1-year extension, or their 1 year for making progress on their permit is up. So they've asked for an extension that was granted. There was a subdivision amendment for a lot line adjustment on Winding Brook Road. There's a house there for sale, and apparently they needed, they needed a lot line adjustment. The people requesting the lot line adjustment do not have the adequate frontage for a lot, which is probably why it was the way it was to begin with. But the board waived that and approved the amendment. So that was that. Then the second public comment session, there was another procedure question regarding public comments and public hearings, and they went into that topic again. If you have comments or concerns, you can email the town manager, this code enforcement officer, or SMPDC, which is Southern Maine Planning and Development. That's how you can get your voice heard if there is no public hearing for you to get your voice heard. The board can decide to have another public hearing once the final plan is submitted for a subdivision. So in regards to this Alley Pond one, the final subdivision plan has to come in, and then the board can have another public hearing if they want. Some informational items. They're meeting with North Berwick regarding a subdivision that affects both Berwick and North Berwick. And so all discussions on projects that cross town boundaries, we have 2 right now, need to be done at joint board meetings and addressed at that town's meeting. So that was just brought up. And that's that. I just saved you over an hour of your time. Have a great day.